Before you start Lesson 13, make sure you complete Test C in the Test Masters on improper fractions and mixed numbers. In Lesson 13, we'll be learning about another type of word problem. These are called equal group word problems. Now, we've been working on word problems for the last few lessons, and let's just kind of review what we do on word problems. The first thing we do is we read through them once, and then we look for key words or key phrases to help us decide what to do next and how to answer the question. And we answer the question by either making an equation or using a formula. And all these problems that we're doing right now, they'll usually give us 2 or 3 known values and just one unknown value. And it's that one unknown value that we're trying to figure out. So if you remember that, that will help you in setting up the problem. And each one of these types of problems are a little bit different. Equal groups problems, those deal with multiplication. And on these types of problems, a good question to ask yourself after you've read through the problem is, do I have equal groups? Is this problem talking about equal groups anywhere? Let's just go ahead and do a practice problem, and let's read it through first. James bought 11 CDs for $10 each. How much did he pay for all the CDs? Ask yourself, do I have equal groups in this problem? Yes, you do, because each CD is the same amount. They're all equal in price. So the group, it's not always going to mean a particular number of items, but it could mean like a dollar amount. That's what we're talking about as the group. A group of money, basically. $10 worth of money is what each CD costs. So maybe equal amounts is a better way to think about this particular problem. Do I have equal amounts? Yes, each CD is an equal amount of money. And what you do on a problem like that, hopefully you can see that you would just do multiplication. You wouldn't add 10 up 11 times in a row. You would just do 11 times 10 is equal to 110 and put a dollar sign to the outside. $110 would be the answer. Let's try another one. Let's read it through. Jack planted 306 bean plants with 18 trees in each row. How many rows did he plant? Well, ask yourself, do I have equal groups? Well, yes you do, because you have a group of 18 trees per row. And that's like our key phrase in that problem too. When we ask that question, do I have equal groups, that helps us find the key words or key phrases. 18 trees in each row tells us we have equal groups of 18 per row. Now the question is, how many rows did he plant? So think about it. We know the total number of bean plants, 306. We need to know one of the factors then. If we have the product or the total, we need one of the factors. That's the rows. And so we would say 18 times R for rows is equal to 306. Now remember that division undoes multiplication, so we'll just make 18 into a divisor. Put 306 inside the division box, and 18 goes into 30 one time. Then we have 12 left over, bring down a 6. And then 18 goes into 126 exactly 7 times. I'm kind of running out of room there, so I'm not going to do the subtraction and everything, but 18 times 7 would be 126. You'd have a remainder of 0. So the answer would be 17 rows. And so we've answered the question there. How many rows did he plant? 17. We can always check our work by multiplying 18 by 17 again to see if that does give us 306, and that would. So on that problem, by asking ourselves, do I have equal groups in this problem, that helped us immediately know how to solve the problem, how to set up an equation. 18 times R for rows equals 306, and then we did division to figure out the number of rows. Let's do one more problem. Let's read this one through. Every day the plant produced the same number of hummers. If the plant produced 800 hummers in one work week, how many hummers did the plant produce each day? Ask ourselves, is this an equal group problem? Do I have equal groups? Well, think about it. It says that every day the plant produced the same number of hummers. Same, that's a key word there. So every day there is an equal group of hummers, an equal amount of hummers produced. Now the plant produced 800 hummers in one work week, and we want to answer the question, how many hummers did the plant produce each day? Well, a work week, that's like 5 days. We'll assume that that's 5 days. So if we multiply the number of days times the number of hummers, which we don't know, that were built each day, we know that that total should equal 800. So in this problem, we're trying to figure out how many are in each group. Or in other words, how many hummers are built each day. So we just do division, because division undoes multiplication. And 5 goes into 8 one time. 5 goes into 30 exactly 6 times. And you should know that we would just end up with 160 there. I won't do the rest of the division. So our answer is 160 hummers. Now these skills you're learning about word problems now, you can apply these to any word problems from now until you're done with all of your math. You read through the problem first, then you look for keywords and try to figure out an equation or a formula that you need to use to help you answer the question. God has designed our brains to work well when we have a system or a set of rules or standards that we go by to help us solve problems. For example, God has given us the 10 Commandments to help us understand how to live morally and correctly. The 10 Commandments provide us a system to help us know how to live and how to solve our problems that we come up with in everyday life. The same here with these word problems. We're setting up a system of reading the problem through and then looking for keywords and trying to make sure we answer the question by using some kind of equation or formula. We follow those rules or guidelines to help us solve the problem. You've been solving problems like these, like 5 times h equals 800. You've been doing that in the previous lessons and in the test masters. It's nothing new. It just is a little more challenging when you have a word problem to try to figure out how to get to that particular formula, how to write that equation down based on what you've read. The more you practice, though, the better you'll get at it. Let's do one more problem, and this one will kind of go backwards. We have a formula that we've been given. Instead of trying to find a formula, we've been given the formula. We want to write a story or problem about equal groups that fits that formula or equation. So think about these equal group problems. Think about a good story problem that would fit that equation. Go ahead and pause the CD and write that out. Well, here's one of many possible solutions for this. There's lots of different story problems that would fit that equation. One is Mary bought 14 candy bars for her friends. She spent $8. How much did each candy bar cost? So that's what that equation is telling us, right? 14 times x equals $8. Well, if we had 14 candy bars that cost x dollars, 14 times x would be $8, the amount Mary spent. So that would be a valid story problem to fit that equation. So we've done story problems with addition, subtraction, and now these equal group problems are dealing with multiplication and division. Okay, well that's all for lesson 13.